Hi everyone, Victor here again. And in today's lesson, we're going to continue with the part 2 of how to deploy a self-managed Kubernetes cluster on Ubuntu Linux. If you're using an infrastructure as a service cloud platform, be it Azure, GCP, AWS, OCI, as far as you're going to be provisioning virtual machines, it's also the same steps. It's the same process that you're going to use as well. So in the part 1 of this lesson, we deployed the Kubernetes cluster manually. And in part 2, we're going to be looking at how to automate this deployment. So we're going to be using both Terraform and Ansible. And this lesson is going to be more like a 2-in-1 class whereby if you just want to learn how to use Terraform to deploy virtual machines on VMware Vcenter Vsphere platform, right? You can also, watch this video. That's the first thing that we're going to be doing. We have 5 virtual machines that we're meant to deploy. So if you look at this deployment topology, we're going to be deploying 5 virtual machines, 1 load balancer, 2 master nodes, and 2 worker nodes. And the load balancer is going to be placed in front of both master nodes so that whenever you need to communicate with the Kubernetes API server, you can go in through the load balancer. So it's the same topology as the part 1 of this lesson. It's the same thing. The IP addresses are the same thing. And in the part 1, you looked at the fact that we needed to open up some ports. For the load balancer, you open up port 6443 and 8404. For all the Kubernetes nodes, these are the ports that you're going to open. And for the master nodes only, these are the ports that you're going to open. And the reason why you're going to be opening those ports are also stated here in this article. So I'm going to be posting this article or this document URL in the description box below so that you can also go through this as well. All the playbooks, all the Terraform scripts, everything is going to be here on the website. So if you look at the steps we took in part 1, we configured HA proxy server and then we started with the step-by-step guide, which and also we allowed the necessary port on the firewall, and then we started with the step-by-step guide, which step 1 was to disable swap, and for step 2 we ensured that the necessary kernel modules are loaded at boot time for Kubernetes. So for this automation process too, that's the same thing. We're going to adopt the same method. I'm doing that because I want you to know that it's the same thing, right? And as a matter of fact, before you can automate, you need to know how to do that thing you want to automate manually so that when you eat a snack, you know how to, wiggle your way out of the problems you find yourself. And I tell you, it took some time for me to, come up with this playbook because I ran into some issues, and because I understood the manual process, I was able to find my way around automating it even when I ran into those issues. You're also going to be seeing those issues, as we go on in this lesson. All right, here's my Terraform script, and I must say this. I need to say this. I'm a bit pained, and that's because I have actually done this video before. At the point of exporting the video after editing it, I had to take out the sensitive information out of the video. And at the point of exporting the video, the application I used asked me to pay because of the kind of features I used. I actually wanted to pay, right? And there were bank issues here and there, and I couldn't use that application any longer. And I had to do this video again. So I've put in a lot of effort in this video, and that's why I'm pleading that if you're watching, please subscribe, like, share, comment. When you do this, you're going to encourage us to do more of these videos. Alright, so here's my Terraform script. You can see here on the script I have 5 main files, which are the main.tf file, main.tf, output, providers, Terraform, and variables. Those are the 5 main files. And let's start with the main.tf file. So for my main.tf file, and of course the directory is called Linux VM count. So if you look at my main.tf file, this script is very reusable. I took out my time to write this script, so you can use it as a template. It works for any environment, because here on the main.tf file you don't need to edit anything. Don't touch anything here, except maybe you want to customize more in your environment. So if you look at this main.tf file, it is well customized and it's fine, so you don't need to touch anything here. On output.tf file, you don't need to touch anything even on output.tf file. On output.tf file, it's fine. It's going to show you the output of your VMs. On provider.tf file, you don't even need to touch anything. So this is your vCenter provider. On variables.tf file as well, you don't need to touch anything. In fact, that's how I really love this script. You don't even need to touch anything here, even in variables. So what you would need to edit anything will be on terraform.tf vars file. So on this file, or in this file, right, you're going to have your vCenter username. So whichever username that can perform any operation you want to do on vCenter, for example, or as we want to do here, which is provisioning of virtual machines. So that's going to be the username that's going to be here. So this is not what I'm going to use, right? When I want to deploy, I would have to cover this part, but I'm just showing you that this is what you need, in your environment. And for the password, that's going to be John Bull's password. For the vCenter, this is going to be the vCenter FQDN or IP address. For the data center, your vCenter data center, if you're using a resource pool, this is going to be your resource pool. If you're not using a resource pool, you don't need to use this parameter. For your data store, where you want to provision the VM, your network, the network you want to give the VM, and most importantly, the template name. So you need to have a template or even a virtual machine. You can provision a VM from a VM, or a VM from a virtual machine. What am I saying? You can provision a VM from a template or a VM from a VM, but it is always recommended, and it's a better idea, and it's also very, very fast if you provision a VM from a template, which is what we're going to be doing, right? So I have a template called this name, and everything I want in that template is there. So you would also need to have your own template, and this is the DNS server, and these are the VM list. So for the first VM, this is the name of the VM, this is the IP address of the VM, net mask, gateway, CPU, memory. Memory is an MB, megabyte, so meaning that this VM is going to be having 8 GB, right? 8 GB size of memory. Disk size is 100 GB. Firmware ESXI. So for the second, for the first master node, right? This is the IP address. It's the same information. So even this firmware, I could have actually put it here, since the firmware I'm using for all the VMs are ESXI. So if you want to provision 1 million VMs, just add them here. And if you want to provision 1 VM, just take out these ones or just comment them here, and you're fine, you're good to go. So for VM1, VM2, VM3, VM4, VM5, this is what you need, and this is just what you're going to be touching. This is what you're going to be editing. Alright, so let's swing into action. So I'll just change this IP addresses. Like I said, I have those IP addresses configured already, and I don't want to destroy the virtual machines because I already have Kubernetes configured on it. So 243, 244, it's gonna be 245, and gonna make this 246. I'm going to make this 247. Alright, so we can begin to configure. So I can say Terraform init to initialize. Let me just drag this up. Okay, so this has been initialized, so I can see Terraform run to see what is going to happen. So I can say yes. Okay. So there's something I need to mention here. You can see that it's asking me for the vCenter server address and the vCenter password. And there are ways you can do this. So because I want it to be fully automated, I don't want to start, giving the vCenter information here. So there are two ways you can do this. You can either use a secret manager to store your platform, which is even the best way to do it, or you can, store them here as variables, as environment variables on your system. It's not advisable you do that. Like I mentioned, the recommended way is that you have a secret manager or an application, be it Azure Key Vault or any secret manager that can help you manage your secret or your sensitive information. So for me, I'm just going to use the environment variable so that we can continue. Yeah, so I have exported the environment variables. I'm going to put it on the website on how you're going to do it. It's a sensitive information, so I can't really show it here. Now we can run the Terraform apply, and that was what I was trying to, edit out of the former video. So if I say Terraform plan rather to plan this deployment and to see what is going to happen. So let's see what plan would give to us. It's trying to read the information from the platform, and you can see here the plan is saying that 5 resources are going to be added, 0 resources are going to be changed, and 0 resources is going to be destroyed. 0 to change, 0 to destroy, meaning that nothing is going to be destroyed and nothing is going to be changed. Like I used to tell my junior colleagues and my candidates, the students that I tutor, that whenever you're using Terraform, you should be very careful and always check out for what is going to be changed and what is going to be destroyed, except you really know what you're doing. Then you can bypass this step. So now that we know what is going to be added, we can then use Terraform apply. So you can say Terraform apply to enter. Yeah, so provisioning of this I can say yes, it shouldn't take more than 3 minutes. Yeah, 2 to 3 minutes we should be done with this. And now we have errors, and the error is okay. You can see what I mentioned, that I have already provisioned those VMs. Like I said, I'm just doing this video again, and it's saying that these virtual machines already exist. So what I'm going to do is to change the names of this virtual machine or virtual machines. So what I'm just doing is I'm just adding new. I'm just saying new to the names. I'm just adding new to it so that you can see what is happening here. I'm also going to destroy the virtual machines when I'm done, because I've already deployed the Kubernetes cluster on the main virtual machines. So now I can say Terraform apply again. I should have bypassed the conditional question, so I can say yes. So now it's saying that changes to the output, we're going to have 5 virtual machines are going to be deployed. I was actually expected to see this when I did Terraform plan. I was also surprised I didn't see it, not knowing that it's because, not knowing that, okay, come on guys, changes to output, so it's saying that it's going to change the former VM names from this guy to this guy. Let's be sure of what is going to happen here. Okay, nothing is going to change. Plan 5 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So nothing is going to change. This is just the output of the former information Terraform had. So I can say yes and we can apply. So you can see what is going to happen here is saying that this are the names of the virtual machines that are going to be deployed. So I can say enter, and then Terraform would provision the virtual machines for us. So I'm going to pause the video right when it's almost done. I'm going to continue because this will take about, I think, about 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay, I think one VM is complete. Okay, still creating this one. All right. And now we have our VMs, so you can see that for the virtual machines now we have the IP addresses to be 243 to 247, and for the virtual machine names we have their names to be these names, and for the power states you can see that they are powered on. So this is how you're going to use Terraform. It's very simple, and if you look at it, it didn't even take up to 2 minutes, right? I think this was done we were able to provision 5 virtual machines in 1 minute and 10 seconds. So this is my vCenter VMware Vsphere platform, and you can see the former virtual machines I said I've provisioned this one, the first load balancer, the first master node, the second master node, the first worker node, and the second worker node. And you can see the new ones we just provisioned. This one, the ones I added new to, are the new ones we just provisioned. I could have shown you the whole vCenter platform, but like I mentioned, I don't have an application to filter out sensitive information. So this is what I can show you at the moment. And yeah, I don't need this virtual machine, so we've already provisioned the ones that we're going to be using for the Kubernetes cluster. And like I said, I've even done the video. The Kubernetes cluster is already deployed. So I'm just going to join that video with this or to this video. So I can just destroy this virtual machine. So I can say Terraform destroy, meaning I want to delete the virtual machines that I just created. And let's see what's gonna happen here. So it's telling me that do I want to destroy these virtual machines, and of course this are the virtual machine names, new. I don't want this virtual machines. I can say yes, and I can delete the virtual machines. So it's saying it's been destroyed. It shouldn't take time to as well to destroy the virtual machines, and then this is complete. And yeah, because I have Ansible, I cannot provision VMs and not ping them. So I'm going to be pinging the real virtual machines with Ansible, and now you can see that they are reachable. So I've been able to, redo the video that I once did, the former video. And now I just hope that I captured everything in that video here. Okay, so for those that want to know how to use Terraform to deploy virtual machines on VMware Vcenter Vsphere, this is where the video ends for you. And for the folks that want to see how we can deploy Kubernetes cluster using Ansible, we can continue with the video.